I'll tell you what I didn't see coming this week, a three-way. But don't worry, we'll get to that. First, let's talk about Claire, who thinks maybe she did murder Malva. And let me tell you, we're not done seeing Malva laying dead out in the field. It's lots about her, how she had to confess in church, and they talk about the baby, but she's just laying there dead. Just so much of it. It's, fair warning, it's upsetting. Her dad and brother come over and accuse Claire of doing it, which of course, she's not sure she didn't do it because she had that dream or hallucination. But of course she denies it, and the dad's like, we gotta just bury her in the woods. She can't be buried next to Christian people. Claire goes about the business of sewing up her neck before her burial, and she can't even seem to thread the needle. She's just shaken. She's hallucinating about Lionel. It's awful. Her addiction is bad, and she's just wanting to go back to sleep again from it. Kind of interesting that she wouldn't have been addicted to ether because it didn't exist, but she made it. Then we find out that Lizzie is pregnant, but she doesn't know who the father is. It's the Beardsleys. She then tells the story about how they helped her when she had malaria, and she told them to get the oil that helps her feel better. And they have to rub it all over her body. So one of the identical twins says he's got to take his shirt off, of course, or he might get oil on it. She says, go ahead. And eventually all three of them end up under the covers and have a lubed up three-way. They'd like to all be together. Lizzie explains all of this to Claire, and Claire's really not judgmental because let's face it, she's from a different time. But Jamie is going to insist that Lizzie get married for the baby's sake. Lizzie doesn't want to get married to just one of the Beardsleys. She wants to marry both of them. Bad news, Lizzie. Even if this had happened in modern times, you still couldn't marry both men. But TikTok has taught me that you could have a throuple. Jamie then tells her she has to pick one and she doesn't want to because they're exactly the same. In fact, she told Claire they're the same everywhere. Jamie has the twins draw straws, and whoever gets the short straw gets to marry Lizzie. And he sends Josiah away and he handfests Keziah and Lizzie. At the funeral, Roger tries to smooth things over, but tensions are high. Claire's there and everybody thinks that she's the one that murdered Malva. Jamie stands up to help carry out the casket, and her brother flips out and tells him to sit down, which Jamie does. But they leave the baby's body, and Claire stands up and goes and picks up the baby's casket. And again, the brother flips out. Roger's decided that he does want to be a minister, and Bree goes along with it. So he's got to go find out how to be ordained so he can christen his own child. After this decision's been made, he gets a knock on the door. Yep, Lizzie and Josiah. She wants to marry him, and he tells her that they can only be handfasted. Of course, she doesn't tell him that she's already handfasted to Keziah, so essentially, she's going to marry both of them. Roger does it, and they share the good news with Jamie and Claire before he and Bree head out to figure out how to get him ordained. The good news is that Claire finds out she really could not have murdered Malva, because Lizzie lets her know that she knocked on the door the day that Claire was asleep, pounded, and Claire didn't answer. So at least now Claire knows for sure she didn't kill Malva, but that doesn't stop people from still thinking it's her, and they come to arrest her.